Hello, world changers! Welcome back to another amazing podcast. This is podcast number 8 or 9. I'm not totally sure. I put 8 up there, but I'm not sure. We're getting there. We're getting a lot of friggin' episodes for sure.
Podcast almost double digits.
Yeah, podcast almost double digits. That's crazy. And didn't even think I'd start one, and here we are. We have a super special guest tonight. My friend right here, Tori. What do you want? You want just Tori?
Yeah, just
okay.
Tori.
She actually is quite incredible. She's helped me with my business quite a lot, graphic designing wise. She literally has. I cannot draw to save my life, and you are freaking incredible. Everything you come up with, I'm like, shut up. Like, how did you freaking do that? And so I'll let her introduce herself a little bit, even though I kind of just went off the rails. And then we'll get into what this podcast is about.
Okay, I'm Tori. I'm a graphic designer. I'm also a freelance artist, so when I'm not working doing art, I'm at home doing art, and that eats up pretty much all of my time. And I am sober, and I think that was 3 things. I think my name was one of them.
That's okay.
So,
there we go. It doesn't have to be 3. You can just give me 1,000. I'll just do what I do with Curly. And that is wonderful. And this is how many months?
I'll have 3 months tomorrow.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I'm so excited to get my 90-day chip. I'm going to 2 meetings to celebrate.
Guess what I got?
Yeah, exactly.
That is exactly.
You're proud of me.
Somebody tell me I'm doing it right. That's amazing. I'm super, super happy for you.
Thanks.
It's not a lot of, especially from the town that we are in, it's a really tough feat.
That's hard.
It's hard. It's really hard.
I feel a little bit left out because it feels like everybody's out drinking now, and I never went out drinking really, like, every once in a blue moon. But now that I'm not drinking, now I'm starting to be jealous of people that go out and be around other people, because I'm around the people I want to be around all the time, but, like, I don't know, I got FOMO.
Yeah, sometimes you want to... What the heck? You said that earlier. What does FOMO mean?
FOMO, fear of missing out.
Oh, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, it's legit, though. I mean, it's... And, and people can go out and not drink, obviously. Like, we'll go out and we'll go to the... Oh, yeah, by the way, this podcast is about sobriety. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But no, I'll go out and I like to do karaoke and I like to dance. So we'll go out and I'll get a water, like, whatever. If my friends are doing shots, I'll do a shot of water.
That's a good idea.
And the bartender always is like, I'm like, just shut up. Just
give me the water.
They think that I'm trying to trick one of my drunk friends into drinking water, but really I'm just not trying. I'm trying to be a part of the group.
Yeah.
But not, because if you don't take a shot, they're like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like, but I do like to go out and do those social things. But it's even better though now that I am sober, because I drank a lot in high school and we'll touch more on it, and that's just a thing to do. But I don't think I've drank since I was like 18, and every once in a while it was like, but then I'd have 2 drinks and be just absolutely plastered, just so lightweight. And so now when I go out, it's so funny because I'm like, you see all these drunk idiots, and you're like, that's not me. I'm cool. I'm not cool like you. I'm cool like me.
Right. And when I was a drunk idiot, I thought that was great. I was like, I look amazing
my best
right
life.
now. My confidence out of this world. Like, everything is great. But if I were to see videos of myself now, I'd be like, oh. It's different when you're drunk. It looks different.
It definitely. You're watching that video back, like, I don't think that's how it happened. Like, this is video evidence. And you're like, no. It was different. It was a lot cooler.
It didn't happen the cool way you
Well, I think to start, I can go first if you want, or you can go first. Kind of on... We'll move forward into, like, we'll start at the start, and then we'll kind of gradually get to, like, the end and where we are now. But, do you want to go first on, like, how you started drinking, or would you want me to go first?
I want to hear what you got to say about
Okay,
this.
yeah. Yes, to my younger siblings that are watching, just don't follow in my footsteps. Maybe my now footsteps. Oh, yeah, I'm friggin' Saint friggin' Helen over here, but back then it was rough. yeah, so I was super athletic, middle school, high school. You know, if I wasn't playing a sport, I was managing a sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was always in the sports part of high school was my, and I did student council and all those things, and pledge makers and all those things, and a pledge maker in our school, we went to school together, and it's, you take a pledge not to do drugs or drink. And, I think I hit my sophomore year, and all my friends were in sports, but they would go and, like, drink on the weekends, and I hit a time where somebody had taken advantage of me, and, I, you know, started, like, I lost my whatever. I don't know if I should say it on YouTube, but, and, it was really traumatic. He was a senior, I was a sophomore. It was, he manipulated, you know, a younger person. And I didn't know better. I just knew that everybody was doing it. Mm-hmm. Everybody was talking about, you know, having sex and what they were doing. And I was like, oh, well, and my mom always said, oh, you do it when you're in love. And I was like, Mom, you don't know. What are you talking about? You got 2 kids. What do you know?
Yeah.
And so after that had happened, he had told me that I'll never tell anybody, you know, blah, blah, blah. And went to school that next day. That next Monday, and the entire school knew. He, I guess, was dating somebody, and I didn't know.
Dirty.
And he told everybody, and I would walk down those school, like, the hallways, and, like, the mean girls would be like, fucking whore, and they would, it was, like, and I was in, like, 10th grade. Like, I was a baby. And, it was really traumatic, so I lost a lot of my friends because they were really showing their true colors on, oh, we can do whatever we want, but you did something that you weren't supposed to do, and now we're going to make you feel bad for it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, cool. And there was one group, I had a best friend, and he drank on the weekends and with his friends, and he was like, come out with us, you know, just come to a party. Like, lie to your mom, come to a party. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And I went to this party, and I found drinking, and I was like, dang, I may weigh 95 pounds, but I could drink like a friggin' sailor. I'm out here keeping up with, like, the hicks, and that was like, but it was fun. It was like, I could do whatever I want and not be judged, because alcohol is, like, the biggest excuse. Like, oh, I was drunk, like, don't come at me. And I found that my friend group of these, you know, hick guys and girls that were nice to me. They wanted to hang out with me. They wanted to party with me. They thought I was fun, blah, 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 blah. And from there on, I mean, sophomore through junior year, I was every weekend. My mom would only let me go out Friday or Saturday. So I'd pick which party was going to be best that weekend. And do that. And go spend the night at the girlfriend's house and just get absolutely wasted with my friends. And it was fun, but then I look back at it, and I was put in so many terrible situations that, one, I'm really lucky to have had my good friend who was looking out for me. And because if I didn't have him, then I probably would have been, you know, either I could have been raped or kidnapped or whatever. And I'm really fortunate that I wasn't. And I think 11th grade, I was a basketball player, so I played for the school, and they cut me. Played my whole life. They cut me my 11th grade year for a girl who was awful, freshman, but her family had a lot of money, was giving a lot of money to the school, so they had to make cuts, and I was one of the cuts, and it messed me up. That was hard. Looking at the list and not seeing your name. Yeah. Oh, that was rough. So it was downhill from there. And then I had a friend introduce me to weed. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. I'm not hungover. I can just be stoned. All my friends that I drink with were like, you suck now. Like, you just sit there and you eat, or you're quiet. And I usually am, like, very talkative, especially when I was drunk. And I was like, no, this is cool, because I don't have to be what everybody else wants me to be. I can just sit here and friggin' do whatever I want. Yeah. And so it went from it went from alcohol to weed. And then in college, I was like, smoking a lot, and I had access to it. All my friends that I met in college were smokers, and so like they would just smoke, and I'd smoke with them, and then I moved out of the dorms into like a literal trap house, and like literal trap house, and it was just available to me. And then I moved back home. I actually ended up getting arrested. The boy that I was dating at the time pinned his backpack full of weed on me. So I got arrested.
Yeah.
And it was like a tumbleweed effect, and I ended up was like, I can't stay there. I can't stay in that trap house. I'm gonna get in some serious trouble.
Yeah, you see where it's going.
Exactly. So I came back home, and a few months after I came home, like 3 months, my dad died. And that was like, that was it. That was the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to me ever. So then I went from using weed as like, oh, this fun, party thing, hang out with your friends, smoke, whatever, to this crutch. And now, if I didn't want to be sad, I needed to smoke.
Yeah.
And that is how it went. And I think I used that for he died 5 years ago, and I used that for a really long time. When I met my husband, he smoked as well. And so it was like, we're just like, whatever. And for me, weed isn't necessarily a bad thing. But anything in, anything and everything, if you use something in moderation, it's not bad. But if you're using it, like, every single day, you're not getting things done, that type of thing, it's just like, what are you doing? Like, I have friends that are just, like, they literally smoke all day. And I'm like, dude, we got stuff to do. Like, we got stuff to do. And I think, and my husband has asthma, so it's like, 2 or 3 years into us dating, all of our friends were still on the same stuff, smoking every day, going and doing stuff that they shouldn't, going out drinking. And I was like, you know what, I should probably get through my trauma.
Yeah, instead of covering
it up, because I see all my friends covering it up, I see myself covering it up, and it's not, I'm affecting somebody I love, because I won't stop smoking, he's not gonna stop smoking, and that could kill him. So we've been like officially sober for about a year. I've had 1 or 2 slip-ups where my friends were smoking, and I would hit it like one time, and then I just feel like ass, because I'm like, I just ruined this long period of time that I've been building up. But now, like, what it is for me is I don't miss the feeling of like being high. I miss the act of smoking.
Yeah.
So I've looked into it, alternatives, like there's natural herbs and stuff that you can smoke that it's actually, like, smoking anything is bad, but the one I get is called mullein leaf, and it actually clears out any mucus. And so you can start clearing out your lungs. And if I ever get the urge, I'll just like smoke a little bit of that, and I'm like, oh, I don't even, like, this isn't even...
It's like the oral fixation.
Yeah, it's like,
this is,
it's like, whatever, because, like, that's just what I did when I was stressed out, was roll a blunt, or smoke a bowl, or whatever. And so now, I'm just, like, really grateful. I look back, and I'm like, I never thought I was going to stop smoking.
Yeah.
Ever. I always, like, I was going to be that grandma that was rolling up joints with her freaking grandkids, and just, like, and now I'm just, like, I'm so much better off. And some of our friends, like, don't really hang around us anymore because we just don't smoke at our house or whatever. Like, you can go outside and smoke, that's fine.
Yeah.
But there's just nothing that benefits us anymore. Like, it did what it needed to do, cool. But now it's just like, I'm literally high on life. And
you're in a different phase, and you're not using it as a crutch.
Exactly. Anymore. And so it's been a rough journey, it has. And anybody that was like, oh, I quit so easy, it's like, good for friggin' you, dude. Like, good for friggin' you, because not I. Cannot relate to you. So, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. And so I started drinking at 15 till 18, 18 till 24, smoking. So 25 now, I'm definitely moving towards my best life, which is the only thing that we can do, because we can't move backwards now. So, yeah.
When you stopped smoking and drinking, did you find that you had more motivation to do things like want to start your business and like actually work at it? Like, did that part change for you?
100%. I've always had that, oh, I'm going to do this. I want to do this. I'm going to make it. I'm going to change the world mentality. But with smoking, it was like, I don't know. I like couldn't feel motivated without smoking.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would smoke. And then I wouldn't be motivated to do it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'll just do it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then you forget. And then you don't do it. And now, it's like, when I say I'm going to do something, I write it down in my business notepad. And then I come home and I go on my computer and I do it right away. Because it's fresh in my mind. And I don't have, because what weed does, and alcohol even, is it blocks your, sensors in your brain. And, like, it's not healthy. And it's not productive.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how am I... Basically, I looked at it as... I will never be a successful business owner if I keep living my life the way that I think I want to live it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And after stopping... It was hard. It was really hard. I was irritated. I was just like, dang, I really want to smoke. And I'd get so mad that I couldn't. And it's not that I couldn't, it was that my brain was like, you need to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wouldn't allow myself. And now I wouldn't change it at all. I mean, Harold is like, he's like, oh, sometimes I get urges. But he, like, nips it in the bud. He's so, what is the word? Resilient or, like, he knows that it's not good for him. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. And I'm really, like, if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would have stopped. But I definitely am super glad that I did, for sure. So it's rough, though. People out here, I mean, do you have any other questions before I ask you a question?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Nah, I was curious about that, though.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like, you can't be a successful business owner. You can't be successful in anything if you're constantly using that crutch to be like, oh, no, I can wait till tomorrow. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot wait till tomorrow. You need to get one thing done, productive, a day that is towards your goals. Otherwise, you're going to be in the same place as you was yesterday, and that is lame.
Right, like life is just passing you by.
Exactly, and you're just smoking it away. I still have a friend to this day that he's a lot older than us, and he smokes every second of the day. And it gets so old. Like, dude.
I feel exhausted thinking about that.
Like, dude, it's crazy. You can't even go out and do something because he's like, I gotta roll up first. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, you don't. You can enjoy life without being high.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's a problem.
Right, but I mean, when you're in that mindset, you can't do it
without it. Yeah,
I was in that mindset until 3 months ago, and I am no better than that thinking because I still have that thinking.
Exactly.
But so I totally get that. But it is sad. And
it's hard. It's hard to quit. You've done something for so long that it's so when you did it start with just drinking?
Yeah, for me, so I started drinking in high school like everybody else did in high school here, and it was like going out to parties, and that was like the way that you could connect with people.
Yeah.
Is because everybody else is drinking, and if you want to be social and you want to have that like interpersonal connection with people, you just gotta kind of go do what they're doing. And when I was drinking, I also noticed like, wow, I'm, no inhibitions, so confident. Mm-hmm. I think I'm so funny. I'm so all of these things that probably were just like in my head and not real. But that's like also what alcohol helps you do, is just like makes you confident and all the things that you want to be.
It's like an alter ego, basically.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like Clark Kent turning into Superman.
Yeah, literally.
And I put on my fucking little cape and I'm... But, so yeah, like drinking and smoking, a lot of it was just my high school boyfriend introduced me to drinking and smoking. There was one time that I was told I was being given weed, and it was not.
Oh no!
I passed out, and he took me to his friend's house where his sister was so that she could take care of me. He just dropped me off there and left. So
shut up. What was it?
Was crazy. It was like legal weed or whatever.
Oh, the
synthetic.
Synthetic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And yeah.
It just dropped you off?
Yeah.
What
I was
dick.
like,
what, dude?
I'll be fine here.
Yeah. See you later with this stranger.
It's like, talk to me when you're feeling better. Pretty much.
Frick, dude. That is terrible.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then, I mean, that ended up just after that relationship, you know, something traumatic happened, and then I was just looking for ways to distract myself from what had happened, and, you know, drinking and smoking was the best way to do it. And also, I could be around other people, and I really needed to be around other people, and so I got just, like, more into that. And it was the same summer that I was going off to college, and I went to Eau Claire. We both went, no, River Falls. Well, I went to college the first time in Eau Claire, and when I went there, it was like all bets were off. I was dabbling in any drugs I could get my hands on, drunk all of the time, just drinking, going to class. Like, I ended up dropping out halfway through my second semester because I was failing, and there was a way I could get money back, and which I had already spent some of my tuition money on, like, buying drugs and alcohol. And so I was like, okay, I'm already gonna fail. There's no point to finish this semester. I'm a complete mess. I just want to go home, and I can get a little bit of money back. So I withdrew at a certain date, and I got some of the money back for the semester, went home, just got my butt to work, and I just started working and trying to fix my life. The whole time I'm still drinking and smoking and doing whatever I was doing in school. I just went and did that at home. And so it did not get any better, and I mean, for years and years my life was like that. And I'm always just like, you know, it started with covering up the first traumatic thing that happens to you, and then along the way other things happen, so you just need more and more and more, and don't think about it and don't process it. And this whole time I was in therapy too. It's like, you have the tools to process these things, you dummy. Do
it's like
it.
Hammering a screw. It's
yeah.
Like, oh, dude, come on.
And but yeah, I just continued and continued for years and years, and I'm 29 now, and I eventually, along the way, I stopped smoking because I got that thing that some people get where you just get anxious all of a sudden.
I'm the same way now.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I'm glad that it happened, because I never wanted to smoke, like, forever, but I also never saw myself stopping, which is the same way I felt about alcohol. I didn't want to, like, drink forever, but I didn't know. I just hope that one day I'd wake up and be like, I'm good.
I don't want it today.
Right. Like, don't put in any effort, any work. Just, like, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm cool.
Yeah, it just happens.
It's
like
out of my
that.
system now.
Yeah. But, yeah, then this last year, I mean, I haven't smoked for a few years now, but, like, my drinking got, you know, worse and worse, and I got out of a bad situation, and I was left with a lot of trauma. I got diagnosed with PTSD several months ago, and so these things would happen, and I would have episodes, and to deal with that, I would just black out, because I'm already dissociating and throwing up, so it's like, it's the same thing as being drunk. You might as well just lean into it, and then I'll just totally, everything gone.
For that night, you're not you're not in that traumatic state. You're just doing whatever.
Come back to it tomorrow, and then once you feel that tomorrow, just do the same thing again. And you just avoid it forever. But so my drinking ended up getting really bad. And it was bad before. It got worse. And one day I was at work, and I was hungover, and normally when I'm hungover I get really anxious and just, like, out of control. And this day in particular was so bad, my dad ended up taking me to the ER, and I was having, I was suicidal, and I thought that the world was slipping out from under my feet. Like, I just thought, I was like, this is it. I feel like I'm gonna die. And I was terrified, so my dad brought me to the hospital, and they recommended I either go to Miller Dwan, or they had this hospital program. It's 3 weeks. It's adult partial hospitalization, and it's like DBT mental health courses. You do it 7 hours a day, 4 days a week for 3 weeks, so it ends up being like 80 hours or something like that. And they also recommended that I stop drinking and put a note in my aftercare sheets that I was like an alcoholic. And I was like, I don't know, that day I just remember sitting there, I was gripping onto my dad because I thought he was going to just like float away from me, or I was going to float away from him. And I was like, this is it. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Because it's like, if I'm to the point where I want to kill myself, okay, something has to change now. And as hard as that experience was, I'm so grateful that happened. I'm so grateful that I'm sober, and I'm so grateful that I had that wake-up call, because 2 days later, I got signed up for this 3-week course at the hospital, and I went to my first AA meeting. And one of my friends from AA, who I knew who were outside of AA, and my sister-in-law suggested that I connect with her and see about going to a meeting with her. And so my first meeting, she came and met me out at my car and brought me in. I was terrified to be there, but by the end of the meeting, I was like, man, I wish I could curl up on that radiator in this room and stay here forever, and you guys will stay here forever with me.
I'm just safe.
It was so comfortable. It was so safe. And
all these other people are going through the exact same thing.
Exactly. They get it. You feel so alone and unique in the way that I'm going through this, but the best thing to learn is you are not unique or alone. You're all doing the same thing, and it's like, thank God there's nothing special about me, because I need your guys' experiences to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how I got sober, was just that day turned my life around.
That is like the power of surrounding yourself with those type of people. Because I mean, it's the same thing. If I keep hanging out with people that smoke, I'm never gonna not smoke. But if I'm hanging out with people that find joy in like we started going to a church youth group.
Yeah.
And all those people in there are the same, between like 18 and 30, and they all are like, trying to find God or trying to get away from something terrible and trying to find some answers, or they're just like, they just need positive, good people. And it really, for me, it's definitely like, it shows you that people all over the world can really have an impact on, and that's why I started the podcast, because this is real life. Like, this is real stuff right here. This is what people are really going through. People are really having these problems. People are not alone.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing, is being alone and thinking that, I mean, when my dad passed, and one of these episodes is going to be on grief, and when my dad passed, I was alone. Like, I quit my jobs, I sold my car, I left my toxic, emotionally abusive boyfriend. I shut the world out. My mom would drop food off on my nightstand, and she would pick it up there to switch it out, because I just wouldn't eat. I didn't care. There was nobody in the world that knew what I was going through. And then I started meeting, my friend was like, you gotta come out. Like, you've been in your room for 3 months.
Yeah.
I get it. It's terrible, but you need to start going out again. And I did. And I met people that were like, oh, I'm so sorry. My mom passed away. And my dad passed away. And it was like, I'm not special.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just me. I sat in that room for 3 months thinking it was just me. I was alone. I would rather die than live without my dad. And all these people are actively living and being happy doing it. And if I would have never took my friend's advice, I would have never met Harold. Yeah.
Right.
I met him at our random friend's house, and it was just so random, and it was like, it's just like, it's so scary, but you have to know that you're not alone.
Right.
And that you can do it. I mean, I had a friend that, I don't know if you graduated with my brother? Or, yeah. So I'm not sure you would know him, but a year before me, so he graduated in 2015, his name was Tristan, and good friend of mine. He was really, really struggling. I was trying to help him with anything I could. You know, he was struggling financially. So I would help him with anything I could. We were applying for different, you know, financial assistance and that type of thing. And one day I got the call from his mom that he killed himself. And it was like, how could I, and my dad killed himself. And I was like, dude, how can I let this happen again? Right. Like, I am the worst. Like, how can I do this? And talking to his mom, he's like, there's nothing any of us could have done. No, yeah. He knew what he wanted to do. I mean, he was such a good person that he even found a home for his dog to make sure his dog was good, and then did it. Like, it wasn't like, he really thought it through, and it just, like, I just, to this day, am like, dude, I just wish I could hold you and be like, it's gonna be okay, because in that moment, you think the world is ending. In that 3 months, in that, you know, time of you're getting sober, in that time of, you know, losing a good friend or whatever you're going through, it feels like you're gonna die. Yeah. But you're not. You can die from a broken heart, for sure. 100%.
I believe that.
I 100% believe that. Doctors believe that. But the thing is that, and this is what has really instilled me, and what has kept me going, is everything happens for a reason. It makes no sense. And when Harold and I started our, like, religious journey, I was like, I don't know about this God guy, because everything happens for a reason. How you gonna kill my dad? Like, what was the reason for that? How you gonna let him do that and take him from me when that's somebody that I really needed in my life? And I don't know the answer, but I do know that it had to happen. And, you know, my dad could have been struggling in ways I had no idea. And it was just, well, it was an accident that what had happened, but I definitely, like, there was a struggle and the gun went off and it just ended up hitting him. But, it feels impossible. And it's just not. We're just gonna, it happened for a reason. We're gonna figure it out. And then years pass and you're like, okay, that's why it happened. Or that's why I'm here. So that I can have a freaking podcast and tell people that it's okay. And it's the struggles of life are really heavy, and that's why when it comes down to, like, alcohol, and, you know, my handle on social media is Future President, and one of the things I get a lot when I game is like, Future President, what is one thing that you would do when you got in office? And I'd say, I'd ban alcohol. I would prohibition this biatch, and I would take alcohol away, because like 70% of domestic abuse is related to alcohol. Like, and then it's just like, it's so accessible. Like, when you hit 21, you're free, dude. You can buy as much alcohol as you want. You can do whatever you want. There's no limit. You'll get cut off at a bar, but you go into the liquor store and you buy a giant bottle for $15, you're good. Right. You're good. You're done. You do whatever you want. And then when you're like, it's just such a toxic thing. And they're doing it with weed now, where they're being like, all right, well, since you guys are going to smoke it anyway, we're just going to make it legal so we can make money off of it. And it's like, my little brother is 18, and he's this pothead, and I'm sad. And I wish that, you know, I try to give me and my older brother, we both get anxious now. We can't smoke. My brother will, like, take a little puff of, like, some dirt weed and be like, and it's Same. Like, and it's literally, it's real, and it's just like, my brother's like, he just thinks it's cool. And I'm like, I was you, dude, but it's not. I'm like, you're going to figure it out one day. I hope it's soon, where your brain cells aren't completely fried. Right. But it makes me sad. And it's just like, it's something that you're going to be cool with. And life is really hard. So whatever way that we can cope with is going to be the easiest option. But I'm learning that the easiest option is not the best.
Right. And I mean, it is up to everybody to learn those things for themselves. And as much as you want to help, you know, I have a hard time with this because I always want to help people and
Same.
Try to, like, save people from whatever they're doing. But I'm also in the process of learning, like, people will make their own decisions regardless of what you say, and it's not your responsibility to help, and sometimes it hurts more than it helps. I don't know. But I get it. It's hard. I want to help people, and I've been trying to reel that back, which feels so unnatural. But man, people got to figure it out for themselves. That's the only way it, like, means anything, you know?
Yeah, and that's the only way you actually get out of that situation. Because you can give it... I can spew advice for freaking ever, but you're not going to hear it until you actually go through it.
Right.
And that's one of another... That's just, like, another struggle. So are you... So the friends that you would go drinking with and you know, hang out with and do... you know, stuff with, are they still your friends now?
Yeah, so one of the things in AA is they talk about your circle changing, your circle of people. I happen to be one of the people that hasn't affected me at all, because I was an isolated drinker. I would drink at home by myself, or I would drink at whoever's house I was with. And I went out maybe a couple times a year max. Like, I could count it on one hand. And so I didn't have any just, like, drinking friends, really.
Okay.
If anything, you know, like, I have 4 best friends, and I was the drinker out of all of them. Like, they'll drink, but, like, I was the person, like, drinking to excess.
Yeah.
And, like, my intentions are different. And I think intentions are a lot. Like, my intention was to escape my brain and my body. Whereas, like, normal people drink for not that reason, you know? And,
yeah,
exactly. So that hasn't changed for me. And in fact, my family doesn't really drink anymore now. Like, if I'm around, like, if at Christmas, I was like, I'm okay with you guys drinking, like, I'm just not going to drink, but, like, you guys can, but they still won't, which is, like, super cool of them, and I really appreciate that, and, you know, solidarity, that's nice, but it doesn't bother me when other people drink. Like, I've hung out with friends since these last 3 months I've been sober that they'll ask if they can drink, and I'm like, yeah, go ahead, and I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Which has been, like, incredible, because, I mean, one of the promises in AA is that you lose your obsession along the way at some point, and I definitely haven't. Like, I still have a lot of, like, triggers and things that make me want to drink, but some of that obsession is already being, like, lifted, which is nice.
Yeah, and then 3 months, when you really look at it, 3 months is like, as a sobriety standpoint, is a really
I was going to say, it's like a baby amount of time. Because I'm with a bunch of old timers that are like 50 years sober, and I'm like, I am an infant.
3 months is a really long time. And you know, once you start getting to those year and 2 years sober, it starts to get easier.
Yeah.
Because you're finding, you know, other things. But the baby year, the baby months, the just starting it's hard. It feels like a really long time.
Yeah.
But it's a really good amount of time. Like, that's like, it's one day at a time. That's all it is. So
and I would get so mad. You know, I'm just about to finish 90 meetings in 90 days, which is what they, like, recommend that you do when you start going. So tomorrow will be my 90 days sober, and I'll have finished my 90 meetings in 90 days. And, they always say, you know, one day at a time, progress not perfection, life on life's terms, like, all of these different sayings that would just eat me alive. I'd be just sitting there pissed off. And it took me up until very recently to realize, like, the truth in what they're saying and why they say it so much.
And then you're gonna match the cliche too. You're gonna start saying
I'm
it
gonna
to
be
people.
the one saying that, pissing somebody else off.
And it's good though.
Yeah.
It's so good. I mean, that's literally what I say is, like, surround yourself with people. And it's like, people are like, oh, this girl, like, oh.
Right.
And I'm like, and then, you know, you'll just catch yourself saying it, and it's for me, a lot of my high school I didn't have a lot of friends. I drank with people that were my friends, but then when I stopped drinking, it wasn't when I started smoking and stopped drinking, we'd be at the same party, But they'd be with that group, and I would be with this new group, and that type of thing. And then when I, stopped smoking, it was the same thing. Like, oh, well, and they'd be like, all right, we're gonna go smoke outside, and then they'd be outside for 2 hours. Yeah. And I'd be like, all right, cool. And so now I definitely have, like, my OG friend group where, all the people that were in our wedding. Those are our OGs, and some of them smoke, some of them drink. It's like a mixture. But one of our best friends had a really big problem with alcohol, like, and this is when I knew he had a problem, is when I went over there to smoke with him one time before I stopped, and he made a joke saying that in the morning, right when he wakes up, he takes like a shot of Patron, and like it hits the bowl. Yeah. And I was like, a good one. And then I went into his room, and there's literally a bottle of Patron, and I was like, are you serious? You really, like, take a shot of Patron right when you wake up? He's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, you are an alcoholic. Like, that's not good. And he always, I always give him advice, like, you need to stop drinking, because your drinking is what's causing, these huge depression, like, manic type things. Like, you wouldn't be drunk. You're sober for whether it's the whole day or the whole night, and that is making you irritable. And then when you get drunk, you're not getting things done. You're not focusing on your dreams. You're pushing people away. And now I think it's been like a year or something, and he's getting, like, he's so good. Like, he's doing so well, and he still drinks like a beer, or like maybe even drinks like binge drinks a night. But he knows that it's a problem, and he knows when to stop. Yeah. And that, it's like, it's these baby steps. So definitely my OGs, they're definitely supportive. Some of them are. When Harold and I said that we started going to church, some were kind of dicks about it. Like, trying to convince us. Yeah. And basically what I said was that if there's anything that is good to believe in, I want to believe in that. Yeah. Like, if I could be buddies with Jesus, that's lit. Like, that's cool. I like that. And it's not like, we're not the type of religious where we're followers of these random, like, churches or, like, cultish groups, because they are out there. And it's definitely toxic. No, we just want what's best for the world, and we think that, if I could be like Jesus, then I am a legitimate world changer. Yeah. I'm making a legitimate difference if I can just help people every day. And so that I don't speak to anybody that I went to high school with. I mean, maybe once in a while they'll reach out to me and say something about the podcast, or like say something about Twitch or TikTok or whatever. And I'm always like, yeah, thank you so much. I hope you're doing really well. But like, hangout wise, not happening. Not happening. I have no idea. I barely hang out with my OGs. Like, it's basically me, Harold, and 4 animals. Yeah. And my family.
That's the dream.
That is the dream. And I'm really, really close with my family, which is really nice. Yeah. And it's good to have good friends. I mean, the people that we, like, met in our church group, they're really, really good, wholesome people, which is really refreshing. But otherwise, it can be really just, like, you kind of just want to shut off from the world, because you don't want to be tempted with any of those temptations.
I get that.
And that's my biggest thing. And it's just, like, I'm finally at the point now where I smell weed, and I don't want to smoke. Like, I'm like, oh, that smells like ass.
I've not gotten there yet.
And I'm like, and I wasn't there for so long, I'd get so irritated, because I was like, I just want to smoke. Like, oh, that smells so good. But we were just in California, and we're, Cat, get down! And I know, she messes with my business cards. I can't stand her. Like, you're going to swallow a pin, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
Stupid idiot. And, frick, Cat, what was I saying? Temptations. And, like, I'll smell, we were in California literally just last week, and I would smell weed, and I'd be like, they're either not smoking good weed, or that just doesn't interest me at all. Yeah. And it was so weird, because I lived my whole life, like, in the crowd, and being like, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
Where do I go? How do I get there? And so
you're like a dog.
Like a hound dog,
yeah.
And that was definitely one of the biggest struggles that I had. It was just like, but now I'm just like, okay, I'm finally getting there. With alcohol, it was easy. My dad was like a raging alcoholic. He was like the most high functioning alcohol. Like he would work 80-hour weeks, but as soon as he was off work, he had a beer in his hand.
Yeah.
As soon as he was off work, he was at the bar. I'd have to go pick him and his friends up at the bar. Like it was like, and that was my whole life. I mean, he worked so hard that was his relief. I mean, he literally bought a bar with an apartment on top.
So and he lived up.
And he would drink and then he would just go pass out and then come home in the morning. And it was and as a kid I never knew how bad. But now as an adult I'm like, oh yeah.
My alcoholic brain, when you said with the apartment above the bar, I was like, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, because then you can and that's what it is. Because you don't have to drive, you're not gonna get in trouble. Like he was drinking for free, he owns the bar, who cares? And that's one of my things that I always like if my dad was alive now, we'd be best friends.
Yeah.
I'm a business owner, he was a business owner, I bought a house, he built houses literally he was like a contractor, electrician, all of these things. And we would have been best friends. But I also am now at the point in my life that if he was alive, I would be like, Dad, you have a problem.
Right. And
you need to figure it out. Because you have 3 kids that need you and that you're not here. And that's why when my dad died, I have twin brothers that are they were 11 or 12 when he passed. It didn't hit them as hard as it hit me, because like I was 20. It hit me like a truck, like my dad, like that's my dad. It didn't hit them as hard because he wasn't around as much. He was working full time. He was at the bar full time. Like I was really like, I would cry all the time, and I still cry a lot. And as they grew up, we kind of like, because we're best friends. I love them. They're literally they're my brothers, and they are what I have left of him because they look exactly like my dad.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. And they're really good kids, and we're really open with each other. And I asked, like, you know, do you cry? Like, do you miss him? And basically they're like, we didn't know him.
That's heartbreaking. We
didn't know him. And for me, my dad was like, he was funny and goofy and loved to play, and he was ridiculous and annoying and loved to watch the old westerns, and he loved golf. Later did I find out he loved golf because, one, it was a break from 3 kids, and he got to drink on the course all day long. Like you're on the course, nobody's gonna question. You got a cart girl coming up to you every 3 holes and be like, "You guys want a drink?" So it's definitely like the realization for me. That's why I drank so much in high school, because I had my dad and my mom, they were split up. They were split up my whole life. But they were on me. Like, you gotta do this, and you gotta do that, and you gotta act this way. And I was like, no, you didn't act this way. I'm gonna do what I want.
Seems a little hypocritical.
Yeah, and it was super hypocritical. And so that's why I drank so much. But then when I started smoking weed, I was like, I can be my own pothead. I don't need to follow your drunken footsteps. And that was, quitting alcohol was easy for me. It tasted bad. I'd throw up. I'm already super bubbly, so it's not like the alter ego that alcohol gave me was just like, well, back in high school it was slutty. For sure, for real. I was like down for it, like whatever, like okay, let's do it. And now it's just like, it's funny because I don't miss drinking at all. I do miss smoking sometimes. My brain, I have ADHD pretty bad, and I have OCD, I have ADHD, every letter thing, like and
alphabet.
Yeah, the whole alphabet right in my brain. And so I miss the feeling that weed gives of like that calm, like just the F down.
Yeah,
just chill out. Like,
we're not on 10 all
play
the time.
Minecraft and just sit there.
Yeah,
I miss that for sure. But now I'm learning without it to self-soothe. Like, I'm a baby. Like, put me in the crib and cry. Like, it's just like, and it's super overwhelming sometimes. And that's a big struggle with people that are quitting things, because we're just so conditioned to, like, when something doesn't feel right, to do the thing that has made us feel right.
Yeah.
And that's basically it.
Right.
That's addiction right there.
Yeah, you get that from the drugs or the alcohol or the whatever. Like, even now, I feel as if I've just, like, transferred my addiction, because I shop all the time now. It's like I'm still pleasure seeking. It's still a habit of mine. So I'm doing it in other ways now. Yeah, I'm not drinking or using drugs or anything like that, but, like, I shop a lot.
Like online shopping or like going to stores? No, like
in person. Okay. Online doesn't really do it for me. I have to, like, see the things.
Okay.
I have to be surrounded by them.
See, online shopping does it for me.
Yeah.
TikTok shop, I'm like, oh! I'm like, okay. A freaking broom for your floor?
I'd be broke if I was feeling that way, so... Cool.
I know. Harold's like, you're not ordering that. I'm like, already ordered.
You're like,
it's on the way, sucker. And then I get it. He's like, all right, that was pretty good. He's like, how much you spend? I'm like, $5. But I'm a cheapo, 100%. Yeah. Goodwill, thrift shopping. See, that's what we should do. Like, whenever you're getting in those thrift shop moods or your shopping moods, let me go with.
I had somebody from my AA group gave me advice to. They were going through the same thing with, like, the shopping and whatever else. And they're like, so what I do is I go to a store, shop around, put stuff in the cart, and then go put it all back and leave. Because you get that, like, satisfaction of, like, you know, the
putting
planning on getting it. You're envisioning your life with these things in it. But then you don't spend the money. I would like to try that.
That's good. Or just leave the cart and be like, deuces.
Right,
see you
like,
later.
This is somebody else's problem.
This is not my problem now. I'm not hauling this into my car.
And then another thing, too, and this is, like, the people that know, is when you quit drinking, your sweet tooth is beyond. Like, my sweet tooth now is crazy. And, but I've been getting that under control because it just, like, it got outrageous. And then another thing is, like, another addiction transfer has been exercising. Like, I'll go to the Y a lot, and I'll go and, like, every day, 7 miles. I'll just, like...
That's good.
It's good, but also I'm exhausted.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
I have no time to do anything. Because I'm just... my main addiction right now is keeping myself busy, which that has been my entire life. And I got this from my dad. And he even told the person that was instructing my partial hospitalization course when I, like, met with them after my 3 weeks, how I told him I needed to, like, not be so busy, and I needed him to be on board with that because he always pushed us to be busy. And the instructor was backing me up on it, and he turns to her and he's like, busy is better. And I was like, this is what I mean.
This is what I've lived with my whole life.
Yeah, so I always feel this internal sense of shame if I'm not doing something at every moment of every day. And that's something I've been working on with, like, my therapist and my psychiatrist, and I talk about it in AA all the time. AA is the best people. Everybody's actively working on themselves, and it's a we program, so you're all working together.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Right, and I like to say it's like free therapy. I'm there for an hour a day, every day, and it's just, you get to, the amount of times I've cried my eyes out and just blubbered at those tables, and it feels so good. And
to have people that have gone through the same thing is... For me, keeping myself busy is, no, Pepper, get down. Pepper!
Oh, she's reaching.
I know, she's the worst. And, come here. And, you stop being like that. That's enough. You're annoying. And, no, don't. You can drink out of mine. You can drink out of mine. I don't care.
My cat drinks from mine.
I was like, don't let him do that. I was like, I love her. She's thirsty. And for me, I'm always busy. My ADHD, I'm the same way. I feel bad if I don't do anything. I have gotten so good at, like I'll be gaming or something, and I'll be like, I need a nap. Like, I'm just gonna go take a nap. Yeah. Like, I'm just gonna go do it. Or, like, if I worked, because I have a really hard time saying no. I'm a helper. Like, that's my love language. Like,
me too.
My brother knows it. Everybody that I know knows it. That if you ask me to do something, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be like, Yeah, sure. Yep. Even though I do not want to do it.
Yep.
And I hate it. And I've been working on it so hard. I mean, even we just got back from vacation on Friday. And we weren't even in town yet. I was... Pepper, don't do it. Dude, she's the worst.
That was
Are you kidding?
wild.
Go in the bathroom. Go. Hey, babe. Can you let the dogs outside? Get out of here, dude. Let me undo 4 knocks for
The vertical on her jump.
Dude, she's
was
cracked.
insane.
She's cracked. Like, she'll do anything to die. Like, I'll just go downstairs and mess with these giant dogs.
Yeah.
And, no, it's really, so we were literally in Cloquet, which is like 20 minutes away from where we live. And, I just literally spent 24 hours traveling. Mm-hmm. Like, we were in California all day from 7 a.m. till 10 o'clock. We were exploring LA. And then our flight was at 11:30, so we went to the airport. We didn't get home until noon that next day. And then, 10, and then we had a 2.5-hour drive back home. So I was literally traveling all day long.
Yeah.
Didn't even get home yet. I had 3 different people call me and go, "Are you home yet?" I was like, "Almost." Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Oh, I need you to do this, this, and this." And I was like, "I'm not home." Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Well, when are you going to be home?" And I was like, "I don't know, like 30 minutes." And like, "Perfect. I can wait that long." And I was
yes,
like,
this will be my first thing.
I was like, and one of the things why I ended up doing all 3 things, because I have a problem. And one of the things was, like, my job where I'm a caregiver and he needed help. And so I'm going to go over there, obviously. Mm-hmm. I haven't been here for a week. You need something done, I'll do it. And the other things, I just hate disappointing people. Mm-hmm. And I think that stems from growing up. You know, my dad was a hard ass. Like, if you don't do it right the first time, don't even attempt to do it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to fail. And then I'm going to be disappointed. And that's how I live my whole life. So now if I say no to somebody, I'm like, oh, they're going to hate me. They're never going to talk to me again. And Harold's really good at being like, "No, dude, just say no." And I'm like, mm-hmm. It's not that easy. He's like, "No, really, it's that easy. Say no." Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess. And I've been working on it quite a bit. But if I'm able-bodied to do it, I just feel like I have to do it. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but I'm finally learning that, you know, I've scheduled my life in the way, because I can't work a 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. I did that for years and I hated it, and I have stomach problems, so you can't call in to 9 to 5s.
Yeah, like, they don't take that.
You're gonna get fired 100%. I thought that was my dog for a second. I was like, oh my god. They do be howling like that. And so a few years ago when I first got my caregiver job, I kind of sat and I was like, okay, I work 6 a.m. to 12. Mm-hmm. That's it. And then I go on with my day. I can do that. And it's caregiving. So cleaning, picking up, going grocery shopping, that type of thing. Easy. Yeah. Then I picked up another job that I help with a man with disabilities. Mm-hmm. And that's only like 2 or 3 hours. Because I realized that if I'm going to work, I need to do it in segments. Yeah. Otherwise, I get overwhelmed. If I don't feel good, it makes it so much worse when you look at a clock and you're like, I got 7 hours left. Like, oh, crap.
You're counting it down.
I can't do this. Like, I literally used to be at my job, and I was a customer service person. And what I would do right when I got there, I would write ticks for every hour and half hour. And then as the hour and half hour passed, I would tick it off. I would tick it off.
Oh my god.
And because time for me, I'm a huge time person.
Yeah.
My mom was always late growing up. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. So now, me and my older brother, he's late. He has 3 kids.
Understandable.
He's going to be late.
Yeah.
Me, I might be late. But the only reason I'm late is because something happened. Otherwise, I leave an hour before I'm supposed to be there.
To make sure.
And then I'll just sit in my car and play Candy Crush. I don't even care. And it's just like, our brains get so used to that routine. And with starting my business and everything like that, it's breaking up that routine, adding more things, but still maintaining my sanity. Because otherwise you will literally, how can I run an effective business or run an effective life if I'm so overwhelmed?
Yeah.
And that's why one of my questions on the whiteboard is, living my best life goals, living your best life goals. Like, what do we see ourselves? What is our best lives? And for me is to be working at a job that I created and that I love to do every day. I want to rescue animals for the rest of my life. I want to have a rescue. I want to ride horses into the sunset. I want to freaking travel the world, but not be on planes. I don't know how that's going to work. And I also don't like boats, so they need to figure something out.
Right.
So I don't like...
Teleportation.
Yeah, teleportation. I'll do that. I'll get the little bit of a headache,
first,
and then I'll start traveling, because I really don't like planes. Like, how does that fly? I don't understand. And that's like my best life goals. And now, as an adult, that is literally, we are going to work. You have two options. You make your dreams come true, or you watch everybody else around you make their dreams come true.
Yeah.
And I'm
be
not
a cog in that machine.
And I am not watching. I will help. I want to be the person that, you come to me and you're like, I really want to open my own art studio. I'd be like, here's $100,000. Freaking go do it. Like, that's the person I want to be. That's the kind of success I want to have, where my friends can come to me and be like, I really want to do this. I'd be like, $50,000. Go do it. Is that all? You need more? What do you need? Tell me. I'll do it. Okay, come on. Like, let's go look for a building. Like, come on. Because this is like, we have to build each other up. Nobody can do it alone. That's the biggest thing. Everyone's like, I have to do this alone. You're never going to do it alone. The people that do it alone, you're going to climb to the top, and then you're going to look down at all the people that you could have been there with, and you're going to be like, damn, I wish I was down there.
Yeah.
Like, dang, this kind of sucks being up here by alone. But if you're building each other up, and you're all at the top together, you're going to be like, this is cool. We're cool, you guys. Like, this is where I want to be. So that when you look at, the next 5 or 10 years, have you thought about your, living your best life and what your goals are?
Yeah, I want to... Well, I mean, one of the only, goal that I've ever had my whole life, per se, is to be a mom. Like, since I was, young, I've just wanted to be a mom and have a family, and, that's still, my number one goal, but, otherwise, I mean, right now, I get my fix through my niece and my nephew. I'm over there 3 days a week. I'm just here I am. Let's go. We're gonna go play with some cars.
Yeah, second mom.
Yeah, I just I'm obsessed. And but otherwise I want to start, and I'm in the process of starting my own LLC to do freelance art, because I've been doing freelance art on top of my regular graphic design job for, I don't know, 6 years or something like that. And the last few months, and I've been so busy. It's consuming, and I'm doing a really good job at the freelance stuff. And every month I do the Empower Chalkboard, and that's huge. And that has gotten other people to reach out to me to ask, one of the Sutherland CBD, they asked me if I would do chalkboards for them, and I've done them. I did chalkboards for Burrito Union, and so the more places I do things, the more places ask me to do things. So
dang, who did that? And
and it's so cool to see people hear about these things, appreciate my work, and just to help people bring their vision to life satisfies me. And if I have the ability to do that, and I enjoy doing it, that's what I want to do. And so I already have a name in mind for my business, and I need to go through the LLC process to get that going. But I have a logo idea in mind and everything ready for branding, so that once I get that ironed out, then I can roll everything out. But that's what I'm working towards now. And now that I'm sober and I have all of this time on my hands now and all this motivation, I'm actually doing it. Whereas
amazing,
I don't think I could have.
Yeah, 100%.
If I wasn't sober.
100%. And especially when you would it's overwhelming. Being a business owner, it's a lot. It's scary.
And I don't even know the half of it. I'm sure you're probably just
yeah, it's terrifying. It's rough. But it's so cool. For your LLC and stuff, I recommend Instafile, and LegalZoom. They're awesome. Okay. Awesome. Tailorbrands.com. Awesome website. Helps you get literally everything, whether it's from branding, marketing, your your legal stuff, that type of thing. It'll cost you a LLC certification is like, I think it's like $159. I built my own website, which cost me like $300 for 2 years through Wix, which is a really good deal.
Yeah.
And then there's like, if you want to trademark your logo and all that, that's all that extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I had to trademark Ponder because already, if I didn't trade, I literally have 2 other businesses that I have to send letters to saying this is my name for them, and then if they don't change it, I have to take them to court.
Right.
But it's my name. I trademarked it. I spent $300 to trademark it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like you have to do things like that because I know that I'm going to have competition. You're always going to have competition.
Right.
But I never knew what my talent was, and that's why like for you, I'm so jealous. Like to be able to draw and to be able to take, even with like what you did with my cards,
mm-hmm.
like you literally, I sent you what my vision was, and you freaking beefed it up. Like you freaking,
I just put it on steroids.
Yeah, I sent you like the before Captain America, and then you sent me the after Captain America, and it's just so cool. And that's why, like, when you do launch your business, I would love to help with like your social media, because you being able to reach these people like in your community, great. Mm-hmm. You always want to start in your community. Yeah. That's why I'm doing the fundraiser for Animal Allies at Applebee's. Like, you want to start in your community because they're the people that are going to be there. They're it's like your foundation.
Yeah.
Is the community. And you want to build things on a strong foundation. Mm-hmm. But like TikTok and online, you are literally, if you show people, my favorite things to watch, and this is what people love, is like, when you made your chalkboard and you did the Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah, like the
creating the time lapse. People go nuts.
Yeah.
People go nuts for that because what you're doing is incredible. Like you're literally just freaking drawing. Like my time lapse of me drawing would be like a stick figure in like a cloud, and then it'd be like 2 seconds. I'd be like, yeah, I did it. This is what you wanted, right? And they're like, no. I asked for a caricature. I'm like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just you're kind of skinny. It's cool. And no, it's really, really cool. So I'm really glad that you have decided to start. And being a business owner is super scary. Mm-hmm. Also super fun. You get to have write-offs.
Yeah.
You get to go on trips that you can write off because you are actively doing things. Mm-hmm. I mean, even our California trip, don't even do it. What's the reason?
Yeah.
What is the reason?
That's a door frame.
Yeah, get a cat, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Pepper! I'm actually starting that whole area up there. So above the stairs, it's like a block. I'm putting a cat tower in there. And then I'm going to put a thing where she can scale the wall and then climb onto the cat tower. Yeah, it's going to be...
She's going to live her absolute best life.
I know. Harold's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, dude, I want to do that. Like shelves that she can hop from and her...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's mine. And, no, it's really intimidating, and you're never gonna feel confident about being a business owner because none of us know what the F we're doing.
Yeah.
I just went to a networking event, and when you do get your LLC, and even before then, if you want to come to me, if you want to come with me to these networking events, it's really cool, and that's like. What's one of my gifts is talking. Yeah. I could talk to freaking anything.
You have the gift of gab.
The gift of gab. Yeah, I could talk about anything. And now that I'm talking about something that I'm passionate about, selling it is so easy. Mm-hmm. And that I just had my friend Damien. He just started. He just opened. So the Top Hat has a kitchen. Yeah. In the back. Well, it's been closed for like years. Mm-hmm. He just rented it out. So now he's the sole kitchen. Like he's the cook. And so he's like, oh, it's great food. He's pumping out great food. And so he opened his LLC, which is Good Soup LLC.
That's a good name.
And it's a good name. And so I told him I had this networking event. I'm friends with some, I don't know if you've heard of Lundeen Productions. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talked about it before. Mm-hmm. So they're good friends of mine, and they just hosted a networking event with the Chamber of Commerce in Superior. Mm-hmm. And there was like 30 to 50 people there. All there to network, all there to talk. I got all those business cards up there I got from the event, And so the right side over there, those are just businesses that I'm going to, like, help support. And then on this one, these are businesses that Ponder can work with directly.
That's cool.
So I just, like, section them off so that so once I got a business card, we talked, and then the next day I sent out emails to every single one of them, like, personalized emails being like, super nice to meet you, you know, whatever. And then they all got back to me. It's like, so nice meeting you. I can't wait to see where Ponder goes. And it's just like, I can talk about Ponder all day, but when I bring somebody in, like Damien, and he was like, I'm so scared. I can't do this. Like, I'm going to leave. Like, I'm just going to go.
Oh, did he?
And I was like, no. And he came in, he said hi to me. He's like, I don't know. I don't think I can do this. And I literally walked up to somebody, and I was like, he's a cook. Have fun. And I walked away. And he was like, what? And they're like, so you're a cook? And he's like, yeah. And then I checked in on him in like 5 minutes because there's so many people. So I'm like bouncing, pinging, my friend calls it.
Yeah.
And I come back to him, and he's literally stuck mid-conversation, and he steals a piece of food off my plate, and he keeps going. And I was like, and he's like, yeah, I'm good now. And I was like, that's all it is all, you have to remember, all these people started exactly where we're starting. All, like, Tracy Lundeen, the owner of Lundeen Productions, I was talking to him. He's a good friend of mine, and we went out to lunch one day, which I wrote off as a business meeting. And, you know, I was asking him, he's like, well, why did you want to have this meeting, or this lunch meeting? And I was like, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I need help. And he's like, I will help you with whatever you want. Any advice, anything. He's like, but just know that every single business person was exactly where you are right now. They had no idea what they were doing, and they just winged it. And he said, and I told him what happened. I had developers scam me for like $8,000. He said, if that didn't stop you, and it almost did, I sat there for a second, and I was like, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. But then I said to myself again, I said, you know what? If I let one thing stop me from my ultimate dream, I do not deserve this amazing app. I don't deserve this dream if I'm going to quit so easily.
Yeah.
And now, like, we're like a year later, and I'm literally about to launch, and it's just like things are going exactly. This is one of my trauma triggers, is that my life is going really well, so I'm really scared.
You're waiting for something.
I'm waiting for that ball to drop, and because that's just what happens. I mean, that's what I've always had happen, is that you're so happy, you're doing really, really good. Boom, somebody dies, or something bad happens, and it's just like, so I'm conditioning myself to stop waiting for that foot to drop, and just live in the moment. And that was my biggest thing with finding, like, God and religion, is that I put so much stress on myself that I was just like, take it. Like, take it off. And
have somebody else carry that for you.
And my brother, my older brother, and he struggles a lot with stress. He's got a lot going on. You got 3 kids. You work full time. Like, you got
that's a hefty plate.
You got a lot going on, dude. And he's really anxious. He's always dealt with anxiety his whole life. And I, you know, and when Harold and they make fun of us, my family make fun of us, like, oh, churchgoers now. And, but now my brother's starting to ask me for advice. And he's like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, just give it to God. Because it's not your problem. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. That's not me saying, you know, lay in bed all day. And just wait for something good to happen.
Right, like you still have to work.
Yeah, you still got to work. You still got to do your stuff. But everything that is supposed to happen is already planned out. It's already going to happen. You control your own fate. And so you're either going to lay in bed and you're going to be depressed and you're going to take it, or you're going to freaking run that mile. And like you saying, like, you're going to the gym so much, freaking downsize that. Like, you already look great. You're already beautiful. You don't need to freaking run 7 miles a day. That's insane.
Tell my brain that.
I ran track for 4 years. I think about running 7 miles now. I'm like, I run like 5 blocks with the dogs. I'm like, okay, slow down. And they're like huskies. I'm like, no. Let me get my bike. Hold on. But, and it's like, it's anything in moderation. So, like, go for a mile.
What is moderation?
Well, and that's the hardest thing. That's another struggle. Run a mile. Do 10 push-ups. I had to do a stream. I have a button on there that says no swearing for 10 minutes. And I'm getting pretty good with no swearing. I'm learning
Congrats.
to not swear. Because I grew up with my mom being like, I literally answer a phone call with my mom on speaker and she's like, I can't wait to
yeah.
And I'm just like, Mom, you're on speaker. She's like, oh, is Harold there? I'm like, yes, he's mad at me and I didn't even say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And but they said no swearing for 10 minutes. And if I swear, I gotta do 10 push-ups. So I swear once, and they're like, all right, get down. So I point this camera down, and I'm on, like, push-up 3, and I'm like, I'm, like, shaking. And they're like, come on, you can do it. And I was like, I got to 5, and I was like, I'll finish the rest before stream ends. Just remind me, because there's no freaking way I'm doing it right now. Like, I'm going to pass out. I'm going to die. And, no, and it is in moderation because you deserve that me time. You deserve to sit down and not think. I mean, when I watch a movie, my friend makes fun of me, and this is why he calls me pinging. Because I'll watch a movie, but then I'll, like, go do the dishes, or I'll sweep, or I'll mop, or I'll be cleaning because I got OCD really bad. And it's like, it takes a lot. Harold will yell, he'll be like, can you just sit down? I'm like, yeah, like, okay. No. I'm like, I'm going to try my best, but then I'm going to get up in 5 minutes. Are you hungry? Do you want me to cook something?
Right, because
like,
I will start cooking right now.
Because I literally will start right now.
I will feed you.
And then I'll clean everything up, and then we can continue the movie. And I'm really grateful that I'm starting to learn to give myself that time, or, like, being communicative with my partner and being like, hey, I'm really overwhelmed right now. Mm-hmm. Can you clean this? And I'm going to go take a minute. And he's like, gladly. Yeah. Thank you for telling me that you do not want to, because normally I want to clean. Yeah. So if I don't tell you that I don't want to clean, then how are you going to know that you should do it? Right. And so it's definitely like, life is this giant journey of literally just learning. But you think of it like this. We're almost 30. And we're learning this stuff right now. It's pretty good.
In the grand scheme of things, yeah.
We're going to be pretty cool, like 30, 40-year-olds. Right? Is what I'm thinking. And
this is a process everybody goes through. So it's like, you just got to be patient with yourself. And, like, not shame yourself, especially, because that's not productive. Mm-hmm. It just makes you feel bad.
And it's harmful. And then it's just, the hardest thing is to keep that positive mindset. Mm-hmm. But if you're the person, like, in your friend group that is so positive that it's gross, baller. That's literally me and my friend group.
Bring the toxic positivity.
It's my friends are always like, and Harold bugs me too, like, I'll say something, like, I want to complain about something, and he'll be like, not that bad. And I'm like, can you just shut the hell up? Can you just let me be mad? He's like, no, because you don't need to be mad. You don't need to be negative. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But I still want to do it. It's like, I want to be mad for right now. And then the grand scheme of things, though, he's right. It's one minor inconvenience into this. Like, we're alive. We're literally living, our world is dying slowly. But it is super depressing. But living in right now, living in that moment, like, I have these cats I can snuggle with, and I have these dogs I can play with, and I am in a house. Like, it's, especially going to California, all of the homelessness and drugs, you really get a perspective of, like, how lucky we are. I mean, even to be here versus, like, other places, California, you gotta freaking commute, like, an hour in traffic before you even get to work.
No thanks.
No way, dude. I could run to my job right now, like, no problem. And it's like, you just feel really lucky, and that's one of the things that with the sobriety journey that I feel really lucky that I'm able to say that, like, I'm doing it and that I'm living, because there's a time where you're like, I'm not gonna live. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna make it. And so now we're just thankful for every single day.
Life finally makes sense now, and it finally feels worth it. Before, I felt like I was just floating around like a speck of dust in the wind, and now, like, I mean, it's hard work. It's excruciating, and, like, feeling feelings is ridiculous. Like, I never did that before, and now I do it all the time. And it's a lot of, like, communicating and, like, taking a really hard look at yourself and bettering yourself, and, like, working the steps is brutal. I'm just about to start step 3, and I'm very excited. But, it's like, now being sober, like, now I understand things so much better. I understand myself better. I have better relationships with people. I communicate better. I just every day working on myself, and I finally feel like I have purpose and my goals feel attainable and life feels better and more comfortable. Like the same comfort I got being in my body with alcohol in my system, I now have that just in my life. Like just
you're high on life.
Sober. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And now
crazy.
You're moving every day towards your best life.
Yeah.
Like you are literally going to wake up one day in the future soon and you're going to be like, dude, I'm so excited for today.
Yeah.
Like I'm living my best life. This is baller. Like
yeah.
And it's and I know we've been going for a super long time. This is probably one of my. This is probably gonna be one of the longest.
Go us.
Record breaking
on this podcast.
What do you know? All the how many steps?
There's 12.
Okay, and do you know them all?
I don't know them all by heart. I know the first one was we being an important part. It's not like something you do alone, but we admitted to ourselves that our lives were unmanageable and we couldn't control our drinking. And then the second step that I just finished is that you are like willing to recognize that there's a power greater than yourself that can restore you to sanity, which, you know, for some people is God, but it's just whatever your higher power is. Like for me, it's my local AA group that I go to and the fellowship there, and it's the people and the community is like my higher power.
I'm looking it up right now so that we can.
Well, and there's 12 steps and there's 12 promises. It's a lot to remember.
Oh yeah, so the 12 steps: admitting powerlessness over the addiction. 2 is believing that a higher power in whatever form can help. 3 is deciding to turn control over to that higher power. So basically what I was saying was just like give your stress and give your anxiety and give your problem.
How you said like give it to
exactly.
God. Like that's that concept.
4 is taking a personal inventory. So like
that one I heard is brutal, and you go through and do a deep dive of like all of your faults and your problems. But
oh man.
And that's one that people have a really hard time going through, but I feel like that's what I've been doing for the last few months on my own with my therapist and psychiatrist and the hospital team and AA and just like everybody things, I feel like I'm already doing that, and I'm so ready for that. For me, it's like letting go of my power and admitting I'm an alcoholic was the hard part for me, and I know that when I get to that step, that's going to be hard too, but I'm ready for that one.
I have a thing that I have a good friend that he gave me, it's self-authoring, like .com or something like that, and it's basically like a giant test, but on yourself.
Yeah.
And so like they ask you like really personal, deep questions, and then you have to like write paragraphs to define like your faults and like to that's try awesome. To like and I'll send it to you.
Said that? Yeah, I would love to do that.
And I haven't finished it. And he sent it to me like a year ago, and I don't even go look at it anymore because I get so overwhelmed because like thinking of those things stress me out.
Yeah.
And just like sitting here now, it's just me realizing like I need to finish it.
Right.
Because I need to get it done. I need to finish it.
I'm gonna share that with my sponsor too, and I'll do that. Yeah, with step 4.
It's really really cool. 5 is admitting to the higher power, oneself, and another person, the wrongs done. That one, that was one of the things that, before Harold and I were baptized, that I had a little guilt for a lot of wrongs that I have done in the past. And we were in church and we were talking about it, and they're like, you need to, admit these wrongs. And I was like, to who?
Like confessional?
Yeah. They're like, to who am I admitting them to the person that I wronged? And they're like, no, you're admitting them to God, and then you're asking for forgiveness. And I was like, that's not going to work. And I did it, and it did work. I was like, things that I was so anxious and guilty, and I had this like guilt bubble in my stomach, it didn't feel like that anymore because I was like, I'm sorry. And that sorry actually meant something. It wasn't me just being like, I'm sorry. Like,
right, you're not just saying it to do it.
Yeah, like I'm legitimately sorry, and that does help. So I really relate with a lot of these. 7 is asking the higher power to remove those shortcomings. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly, like, what you have to do, because you can't move forward if you're constantly thinking about the past.
Yeah. And the other part of that is you have to work on it, too. Mm-hmm. So it's like you can ask your higher power all you want, but you've got to also...
It's not going to just happen.
Put in the work. Yeah, it doesn't just happen.
It's not like you're not going to be like, I'm sorry. And then tomorrow be like, oops.
Yeah.
Sorry again.
And you just never do the same thing again. Like, exactly. You got to break those patterns.
8 is making a list of wrongs done to others and be willing to make amends for those wrongs. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, yeah, I've heard that one from AA, yeah. 9 is contacting those who have been hurt unless doing so would harm the person.
Yeah.
I feel that. I've actually had, I was really bullied in high school, and I shared that with you, really, really bad. And over the years, I've had people come to me and be like, hey, I'm trying to work on myself, and I really need to apologize to how I treated you. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I forgive you. And they're like, really? I'm like, mm-hmm. Yeah, because if you didn't bully me, if you didn't make my life actual hell, I wouldn't be in the position where I am today to relate to people mm-hmm. that are struggling, and I also wouldn't know what it feels like to feel like nothing.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, I hated you for a really long time, and I resented you. I said, but now, and this is not something I said to them, but, like, now I feel sorry mm-hmm. that, because now you were going through something back then that was affecting your life so much that you had to create pain for other people. Mm-hmm. And, like, that is what I'm focusing on now, is what is that person going through?
Right.
And that's hard to do. 10 is continuing to take personal inventory and admitting when one is wrong. I'm getting good at that one. I'm getting good at admitting when I'm wrong. I'm mm-hmm. like, okay, yeah, and Harold loves it when I'm wrong. He's like, yep, you're wrong. I'm like, yeah, all right.
He's like, give me that satisfaction, please.
You got me. 11 is seeking enlightenment and connection with the higher power via prayer and meditation. Yep. And carrying the message of the 12 steps to others in need. Mm-hmm. Very similar. Yeah, very, very similar to, and then the 12 steps of practice. Gotcha.
And then, so, I would consider, like, us doing this podcast right now, me putting in, like, a 12th step work, like the step 12 of, like, sharing it with other people.
Yep, 100%.
And, because, you know, what you can say is it could help somebody.
100%. You could be like, no, moments. Keep drinking, you got this.
Right.
And but doing the positive thing and doing the right thing is sharing your story, because your story, just like you said, we're not special. Mm-hmm. We're not. And but a lot of people think that they're alone, and our story is special.
Like, so unique and unrelatable, and it's like, yes and no.
Exactly.
The good part is that it's not.
Exactly.
And that there are people...
And that's
there are people farther out from whatever you're experiencing that they have a roadmap of how they got through it, and they can share that roadmap with you, and it helps you.
Exactly.
And that's, like, what AA for me is all about, is they're, like, telling me, like, how they got through same things that I've gone through, and it works.
It makes you feel heard and seen and not alone, and that is huge on recovery. Huge thing. I think this is... I was actually telling Harold earlier, I said, I'm super excited for this podcast tonight. And he's like, why? And I told him that you were coming, and I told him what our topic was, and he was like, that is amazing. He's like, oh, that's so good for her. And I was like, dude, it can be so scary to, like, see a camera there and see a mic here and be like,
I've literally just been staring at you the whole time.
Yeah, I was like, I can't do this. And I've actually learned to trick people, because I've had people come on and they get really nervous, and they're like, I don't think I can do this. And then we'll just conversate like this, and then I'll go, I've been recording this whole time. We've been live. And they're like, for real? And I'm like, no, but it didn't matter, did it? Yeah. And they're like, no. And I'm like, so can we start the podcast? Mm-hmm. And I'm like... Yeah, that's great. And like, because the fear of being on camera is really real, because you're scared you're gonna mess up. But the thing is, I can edit anything out.
Right.
I can edit absolutely anything out, put anything in, does not matter. But I want this to be a safe space, so I trick them into making. First I let them know that this is a safe space by just having that conversation, and then I trick them into thinking that they were already on camera, and they're like, "What?" Mm-hmm. I'm like, did it feel like you're on camera? They're like, no. I'm like, exactly. You're fine. It's okay. And if we record and you're like, I don't feel comfortable with you posting this.
Then
no friggin' sweat off my back. Yeah. Cool. I will do a podcast by. Thank you, Chuck. I'll do a podcast by myself. When Ponder releases, my idea is no, I'll tell you after because I don't want you guys to know. It's gonna be a surprise. But I think it was a great session. Is there anything else that you want to say or come back to or anything like that before we go?
Man, I had a couple things in mind. The only thing that's coming to mind right now is being sober or being in any type of NAAA program, it's doesn't make you different than people that aren't sober. You're one decision away from being in the same situation. You are still those people. You are always going to be addicted. It's just the only thing that's different is the decisions you make, and you have to make those decisions every single day consistently, but also only for today. Mm-hmm. Looking at the bigger picture is too much, and that's why they say one day at a time. All you gotta do is the next right thing. Another one of the things they say that just annoyed me so much. Yeah, just do the next right thing. Yeah. But it's true. Just do the next right thing. That cravings only last, they're their strongest for 90 seconds. And in that time, distract yourself, clean something, say, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to do the dishes first or whatever. And then if you still feel that way after, just be I'm just going to vacuum first. And
that's good advice.
Eventually.
Because that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
That first, minute and a half, 2 minutes, it's so strong.
Yeah.
You're right. I never realized that. But yeah.
And get people's phone numbers. Stay connected to sober people. We go out we call it fellowship after or before meetings, and we'll just, group of us will go out to eat. And it also helps acclimate you back into, going to a bar, restaurant type area.
To not just drink or order a drink, yeah.
Mm-hmm, you get to just be there with sober people. You're just talking, doing the work, processing things that you just talked about for the hour before that. And, have sober people's phone numbers. I have, 20 in my phone. And anytime something happens, I know I can call any single one of those people. It's the most welcoming group of people. I love seeing new people come in the door. Mm-hmm. I love, I'll give them $1 for the donation basket and just, buy them a pop or something, tell them what's up, and just be just come back. Yeah. And that's it.
100%.
And that was my last thought.
I love it. I really, and now you already have my number, but now you know that we're sober here. We do lots of, we play games, and if you ever do want to come, it's a Monday night youth group. You don't necessarily have to be religious or anything, but we play games or we sing or we just hang out, and it's really good, wholesome people.
Right. And a sober fun
and it's
thing
100%, yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
People
and it's really fun because it can be scary to get out there with people your own age because you're always scared of what could happen.
Yeah.
But with a bunch of religious dorks, it's only gonna be fun. Mm-hmm. So, and that's what we are. We're just a bunch of weirdos that just love to be around each other and be positive. And actually I had Logan, he was wearing a UMD sweatshirt.
Oh, a couple.
Yeah, it was Fighting Battles, I believe the episode was. Mm-hmm. I met him through youth group.
Yeah.
And he told his story and how he met me, and it always tears me up because it was just in a weird way. We were just sitting there worshiping, and somebody began to talk about suicide, and he broke down.
Yeah.
And I went and comforted him, and he was shocked. I never talked to this guy. Mm-hmm. Literally met him 2 minutes ago. But I was there to comfort him, and he was like, why? And I was like, because I know.
Yeah.
And I know that you think that you're better off, that the world is better off without you, but it's not. And so as somebody that has lost somebody, it's not. You need to be here.
Yeah.
And we created this incredible friendship, and when he said he wanted to come on and talk about his addiction and his suicide experience and that type of thing, I was shocked. Mm-hmm. I was like I don't want to push you to doing this. And he's like, no, I really want to help people that are feeling this way.
Yeah.
And I was like,
passing it forward.
That's what we're freaking here for, dude. So I think it was great. I'm super thankful that you came. I really, really appreciate it. Obviously, I mean, even from our little date night at Applebee's to now, I feel so much more. And that's the biggest thing about these podcasts is I already know people, but these podcasts really let you in on the struggles, the upbringings, everything. And so I'm really grateful that, you know, when you texted me and was like, I would love to be on, I was like, score. I was like, she's gonna love it. Because you're gonna watch this. And now, I mean, she's literally watched all the other podcasts, and now you're gonna watch yourself.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like, dude, would I have been on this podcast 3 months ago? Chalk.
No, I
would
be
do it.
Passed out in my bed, like, trying to not puke.
Don't do it. Get down.
So close.
She
just one little bat.
I know, she's the worst. But I think I'm good. You guys already know that we post every Monday. We go live on Twitch first, and then I post on YouTube later in the night. So I'll edit later and it'll be on, and I'll post it. Like she said, she's a freelance artist, and I will post her. What would you prefer people if they wanted to contact?
If you just put like my Facebook page and my Instagram page, then they can get a hold of me through there. She literally is incredible. I will also show you the business card she did for me, and the logo that she revamped for me. But definitely incredible. You need any artistry done, she's your girl, 100%. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the episode and have a absolutely wonderful week. Say goodbye. Bye. Thanks for listening.